The lesson today finishes the story of Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. It's John 11:45 to 57. Many of the Jews, therefore, who had come with Mary and had seen what he did, believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. So the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered the council and said, "What are we to do? For this man performs many signs. If we let him go on thus, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and destroy both our holy place and our nation." But one of them, Caiaphas, who was high priest that year, said to them, "You know nothing at all. You do not understand that it is expedient for you that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation should not perish." He did not say this of his own accord, but being the high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for the nation. And not for the nation only, but to gather into one the children of God who are scattered abroad. So from that day on, they took counsel how to put him to death. Jesus therefore no longer went about openly among the Jews, but went from there to the country near the wilderness, to a town called Ephraim, and there he stayed with the disciples. Now the Passover of the Jews was at hand, and many went up from the country to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. They were looking for Jesus, and saying to one another as they stood in the temple, "What do you think? That he will not come to the feast?" Now the chief priests and the Pharisees had given orders that if anyone knew where he was, he should let them know, so that they might arrest him. Well, we begin with a slight problem with the translation, which doesn't quite render what the Greek says. The Jews who came to comfort Mary and Martha see the sign, and they are converted, which makes sense. Who could not be converted, having seen someone raise someone from the dead? The people who go to the Pharisees and tell them what Jesus has done are those Jews who merely hear about the sign. They report what has been performed to the Pharisees. Presumably they think that it is a false sign, perhaps produced by magic or with the aid of demons. They're concerned that this sort of thing might rouse the people to revolt against the Romans, and then there'd be tremendous bloodshed and destruction. But there is an intense Johannine irony that we really shouldn't miss. Jesus brings Lazarus back from the dead, but it's this act which prompts people to set in action the path to the cross. As soon as the council hear about this, the Sanhedrin, they start to plot for the death of Jesus. The matter is their concern because anyone performing signs, what we would call miracles, might well incite the people to an insurrection against the Roman occupying army. So signs here is not to be taken as a genuine miracle, but sleight of hand, magic, demonic aid. Indeed, we can know what their fears were like and if they're realistic, because in the year 66, going to the year 70, there was an insurrection against the Jewish occupation, what we call the First Roman-Jewish War. And in the year 70, the temple in Jerusalem was mostly destroyed by the Romans, and many Jews lost their life as well. It's interesting that in this part of the story there's no mention whatsoever of Nicodemus, who was a member of the Sanhedrin and who knew Jesus. Did he keep quiet in the proceedings, or are his words simply not mentioned? We don't know. Ironically, in killing Jesus, more and more people come to believe in him. As Jesus' renown grows, the authority of the Sanhedrin will decrease because they cannot perform genuine signs. And the whole business of the Sanhedrin pivots on the thoughts of one man, the high priest, Caiaphas. Now it says he was high priest that year, but the high priest was usually a lifetime position. But under the Roman occupation, it had to be approved year by year by the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Caiaphas actually held the position for 18 years, and the position of high priest was believed to carry with it the power of being able to prophesy. Caiaphas says it is expedient for one man to die for the people. So his words are politically shrewd, they're politically expedient. But ironically, John is such a great ironist, ironically they also point to John's sense of Jesus dying for all his people, and not just the Jews. So a politically expedient remark disguises a theologically deep observation. Caiaphas thinks that if Jesus dies, there'll be a gathering of all of the Jews who are scattered abroad. Could it be that the Jews of the diaspora would return to the Holy Land on the death of Jesus? It seems very unlikely. More likely, John has in mind that all people will be gathered into a unity because of their faith in Jesus as the Lord. So, what we've just witnessed is a trial of Jesus by the Sanhedrin. But it occurs without Jesus being there and being able to defend himself. There's no due legal process. The whole trial is secret and strictly illegal. No wonder that Jesus doesn't go openly among the Jews, that's to say among the Sadducees and Pharisees. He goes to a little town called Ephraim. It's got no particular significance. It's mentioned in 2 Chronicles chapter 13, verse 19, but there's nothing that hinges upon it. It's almost time for Passover, and this is most likely Jesus' third Passover in his public ministry. And it would be expected that he, along with all others, certainly all men, would go to Jerusalem for the festival. All able-bodied Jewish men were required to celebrate the high holy days in Jerusalem. The Pharisees and the chief priests are setting a trap for Jesus. They wish to save themselves from the trouble that a magician would cause for themselves, the people, and the temple.